small crowd for this particular video. Hopefully only Christians. One can only hope. But today I want to talk about how we Christians conquered atheism. And I want to talk about why it's never coming back. Let's define our terms before we go any further. An atheist is someone that does not believe that God exists. The end, right? So they say. I believe that is an anti-Protestant Reformation movement designed to destroy, belief in Jesus Christ. So we can disagree on the definition all you guys want, but basically an atheist is somebody who claims that, where they claim that they don't have a God or gods in their life or whatever, right? Atheism is these individual atheists going out there attempting to spread this type of ideology out there through various means. A lot of them will use science, and a lot of them use philosophy for the most part, and they target religious people in order to try to push their agenda of trying to show the world that there is no deities. But in this video, again, I want to explain how we conquered atheism. You see, there was a time on social media, and even in society for a little bit, that many people in the church or people just in general who are what we would call theists. A theist is someone that believes in the deity, is someone who believes in a God, right? Atheist means an atheist is a person that's without a belief in a God, so they say. The average theist did not know how to answer a lot of the questions that atheists used to pose about belief in God, the possibility of God, the science behind it, and everything. A lot of them did not know how to talk to them, didn't know how to have their mannerisms around them, didn't know how to shut down their argumentation. It's just the truth. If you go look early on, like 10 years ago, a lot of Christians just didn't know how to deal with them on social media. As simple as that. People like William Lane Craig, Kent Hovind, and other people that was around back then knew how to do it, but there was a lot of minor people out there who didn't know their arguments, didn't know how to deal with them. And atheists had a goal, to be fair. Their goal was to normalize atheism because, before I got on YouTube, I tell the story all the time. I was out there evangelizing and I ran into one of these people. They said there was an atheist. I said, "What is an atheist?" And they explained to me what an atheist was. I didn't know what an atheist was. And then I heard these arguments. I never heard them before. And they almost got me with them. Bionic Dance almost got me one time. And that's all I'll say about that because I talked about that ad nauseum. But the bottom line is that a lot of people didn't know how to deal with them. So I got involved in something that was evolving here on YouTube called the Great Debate Community. The Bible Thumping Weenut, Matthew 4:19. Before Sabella became a prick, Sabella was part of it. Bruce Shepard was part of it. Who else is someone in this community I might know? There was a lot of people like Matt Bell, although I think he came later. And then there was like a lot of them people was involved in the Great Debate Community trying to show atheists that God was a possibility and that he did exist. I was not part of this community. I was just doing my own thing. You can go on my G-Man channel, look at my earliest videos. You can see that wasn't a community I was deeply involved in. I was introduced to the community by a gentleman by the name of Rand Campbell. He got me into a Skype call. I'll never forget it. And in that Skype call, it was a Galaxy Dreams. It was him, obviously, Matthew 4:19. Nephilim was there, and a couple of other people were there, and they introduced me to the community. When I made my first couple of videos with them or whatever, or talking about them, people immediately clung to the things that I was saying, and they was trying to prove to me that God wasn't real or whatever. But what got these people in trouble, and I want people to hear me on this, was when they went into these rooms after bragging all of these years that Christians could not refute their arguments, that evolution was a fact and nobody can prove anything against it. After all these years of them saying that religion was the problem and the cause of all these wars and all of this stuff that they were saying, you clearly knew that they were either lying or they were really misinformed about why wars were formed or whatever. But when I got involved in the community, I really stuck with it. I did something called G-Man versus the World. G-Man versus the World was the precursor to a lot of other little shows that you guys were used to, and we'll get to that in a minute. So I did G-Man versus the World. Rand Campbell had his own little show before I really knew anything about Shani. She had her little shows going at Brett Keane and stuff. Brett Keane had his shows. Veckel started coming to a lot of my shows, and he started something called Thank God for Atheism. We had Antonio Fletcher, who came much later in it, toward the latter end when we were declaring victory and everything. He came in the end talking about abortion and things like that, and evolution as well. And a lot of us Christians were committed to proving that atheism was wrong. Okay? But something happened during this particular time. Galaxy Dreams, and a lot of you know this already, but a woman by the name of Galaxy Dreams and Eve Real. First, it was Eve who lost her faith and became and started claiming that she was an atheist. And then Galaxy followed behind her, and they all went to J.D. Kane's channel, and it was going to people with different channels and whatnot, talking about their decision to become an atheist. And the reason why they became an atheist, because they said that the Christian community wasn't talking about certain things. And people was concerned about why wasn't we talking about slavery? Why wasn't we talking about rape in the Bible and all this other stuff and whatnot? Because honestly and truthfully, I didn't think that was an issue. I never heard of none of this stuff before. But when I really started seeing the consequences of us not talking about certain things, I didn't wait for nobody to talk about it. I started doing it. And I started familiarizing myself with their arguments. Like I said, I started G-Man versus the World. And there used to be this long line of atheists. Like people were getting mad because they couldn't get in my room. It was like the VIP or whatever. They couldn't get into my room in order to talk about these things. Long story short, what happened in these conversations, we started getting into whether or not there was evidence for the existence of God. We started talking about evolution. We talked about slavery in the Bible. Some of us was calling the atheist experience. Some of us was dealing with the big names like I was, like the amazing atheists, Thunderfoot, Jacqueline Glenn, which I can still talk to if I want to, believe it or not. I just don't want to, and I'll explain it toward the end of this video. But we was going at them almost every day, and it even got to the point that the atheists wanted us to stop talking about slavery. Me and Veckel was, think about this a minute. Me and Veckel was talking about that topic so often they didn't want us to talk about those topics no more. That's how serious it was. Okay, to the point that Tanya, Galaxy, and Eve eventually came back to Christianity or theism. I think Galaxy came back to theism, and Eve ultimately became a Christian. But the point of the matter is, we went at it like crazy. I personally, when Galaxy became an atheist, I declared war on the atheist community. I declared war on them, and I said I was not going to give up until these two changed their mind and they came back. And I also declared war on Eve. I was going to destroy any idiotic argument that came out of her mouth until they understood that they made a huge mistake by becoming atheists. I chose to be Galaxy's friend because I was her friend. I wasn't fake like a lot of these people on YouTube. It's funny. I was watching a Miss Parker video today, and Miss Parker was criticizing her friend DC Media Girl. It's funny how these people will claim that they're fans of people and they're friends of people, but then will turn their back on them on a moment's notice if they think they can make a little bit of money. Those kind of fake friendships none of us need. You know what I mean? But I was a real friend to Galaxy for a long time. I wouldn't even debate her because I was obsessed with only doing one thing and one thing only, and that was refuting every last one of these atheist arguments. Long story short, when the great debate community started reaching its apex, a lot of people started leaving my rooms. JD Kane no longer wanted to come to TST. No longer wanted to come to the G-Man channel, G-Man versus the World. Alex Botten got tired of me and didn't want to do it. He was already doing a show called Fundamentally Flawed, and he kind of stopped doing that to go to JD Kane's room and everything. Although we'll talk about Fundamentally Flawed in a minute. But anyway, a lot of them started doing their own shows because they was known by now. I always gave them permission to promote their channels when they came to my room. Because when I went to their room, which I made it a regular habit to do when I first started doing this, I said, I'm going to promote my channel or I'm not going to come on here. And I made sure they promoted my channel and I made sure I promoted it. It was a walking, talking billboard back then. I don't do it no more because I felt like I did what I needed to do. I don't need to do that with every community that I'm dealing with. But anyway, they started going into their rooms. And one of the things that we used to debate was morality. And atheists used to hate. Like back then, a cardinal sin for anybody was to go to an atheist and call them a horrible person. Back then, you couldn't say that to them because they had a goal. They was winning Christians to atheism. So they didn't want to look like an immoral group. Hear me out when I say this now. They didn't want to look like an immoral group. So what happened was we was trying our best to show that you're immoral, you're immoral, you're immoral. And we had legitimate arguments. Like the stuff I say about Miss Parker and the stuff that you see these other knuckleheads on here doing, if I pointed that out back then, there would be a lot of people leaving atheism in droves back then. I can only hope for channels like that to exist. And I did find one. It was the Drunken Peasants. Then I found another one called TST. Then I found another one, Hogtie Champs channel. And they began to grow and started to shed their scales. And then, yeah, you can say it never happened all you want, Lubis, but I can prove it. All of the receipts is all over YouTube. It's not even just my channel. You know what I mean? So you can sit there and say it never happened all you want, but it did. But what happened was atheists started showing their true colors. They all started to show their true colors. And people started to see, wow, they are immoral. Subjective morality is kind of stupid, because with subjective morality, anybody can do whatever they want and nobody's ever wrong. People started understanding that. Evolution, we showed that that was wrong because of the complexity of a cell, because of intelligent design, and various other arguments. A lot of you are new to my YouTube channel. A lot of you are lazy, ain't going to do your research. Go look up G-Man versus the world. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. All right? And then go look at, oh, you can't find TST no more because I forgot JD King's not here no more. But if you look up G-Man versus the world, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then go to Beckel's channel and go look up Thank God for Atheism. You guys got y'all behinds handed to you. You guys just don't want to admit it. We even had some of you guys crying on some of these channels. I remember when I did the whole fake atheism thing. And boom, and I said, well, it was the video that Boom Della Boom did on my channel where he said that the evolution was this, and I convinced everybody that I was an atheist. And then when I came out and I said, psych, started crying like a little baby when he found out that it wasn't true. So much word he put in, right? So anyway, the thing I think that really tipped it to our side is when the atheists revealed that all they really cared about was, it wasn't about beating us as much as it was about, they were trying to bring people to the conclusion, or rather normalize atheism. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to normalize atheism. And don't get me wrong, atheism has been normalized. Congratulations. You'll receive your vanity trophy in the mail tomorrow. Now for reality. Guess what else has been normalized? Destroying the atheist arguments. If you don't believe me, have some of your reaction people. Oh, I don't know. Anybody with a science degree to go in there and go talk to Nephilim free. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. If you want to see what happens, go to True Empiricism's YouTube channel, because he was very much part of it. And believe you me, there are certain people in the reaction community that know from personal experience what it's like to get True Empiricism smacked on the topic of science, regardless of how many degrees you got, Scientist Sam. Go ask Steve McCrae. A lot of people found out the hard way that dude was not the one to mess with. Then we got Nephilim Free. As a matter of fact, I got 3 people who's the all-stars right now. Standing for Truth, Nephilim Free, and True Empiricism. There ain't 3 atheists on planet Earth that can last an hour in a room with those guys. There ain't 3 atheists on planet Earth that can deal with the 3 of them. And you can even have 5 versus 3. That's the funny thing about it. Or 7 versus 3. Or how about this? 15 versus 3. You'll get destroyed. That's how bad it is with you guys out. How bad it was for you guys when you guys tried to refute a lot of our arguments regarding intelligent design and biogenesis. When we was arguing against abiogenesis, which to this day, none of these cowards with these degrees still want to debate this topic. Because they know, like I know, that it's not science. They're into scientism, and it's super easy to prove that they're into scientism. All right? But we conquered atheism on YouTube when they stopped preaching it on YouTube. When they stopped getting on here saying that there ain't no God, there's no proof for God, and they decided that they wanted to become entertainers and make everything personal. That's when we knew we won. That's when we knew you had no more arguments. That's when we knew that you people wasn't anywhere near as smart as you thought you was. And it's just reality. You want to know why it's never coming back? Because you guys are too busy. You guys are too busy. Let me get one out of my pocket here real quick. You guys are too busy focusing on this. While I'm out there trying to get intelligent design in schools, while I'm out there trying to prove that God exists, while I'm going out there trying to show that you guys don't know what you're talking about, you guys are worried about making these And that's all you guys care about. So as long as you guys keep doing that, you will never resurrect your trash on the internet. The Amazing Atheist doesn't preach atheism no more. The Drunken Peasants doesn't preach atheism no more. Jacqueline Glenn doesn't do it no more. Dusty Smith doesn't do it no more. There's only one atheist, maybe two at the most, that I know that's doing it consistently. Bionic Dance and Matt Dillahunty. That's it. You're done. Dead. Kaput. Done. Beckel's preaching the gospel. I'm preaching the gospel. Every Christian on here, the people that are actually called to do these kind of things, we're still doing our thing and preaching the gospel, and we're still more than open to have these conversations. But this is what you guys have preached over the last 2 years, and this is recent. We only talk to we only debate our equals, all others we teach. And you guys have made excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, playing games with people, wanting to debate topics that you can't even define. Like Miss Parker wanted to debate me on evolution. She never had no intention on doing it. What Miss Parker wanted to do was waste as much of my time as possible when she didn't even know what the word meant. She didn't want she wasn't going to quote any biologists or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I came to the conclusion that she was a waste of time. And the fact of the matter is, everybody in the reaction community, in my opinion, on debatable matters is a waste of time. You're conquered, you're beaten, and you're never going to wake up. You're never going to resurrect. I know a lot of you had that woman, the Afro-humanist, talk about how she was going to debate me on this topic. She wanted to debate me and she wanted to deal with me. Listen to me. The one thing I like about this particular audience on this channel, and you don't prove it with your talking, you prove it with your actions. You all know I'll destroy her. Just like you know that I don't need to debate Matt Dillahunty no more because I've already beaten him on multiple occasions, calling into the atheist experience. That offer for $5,000 just went to $10,000 to the person who can show me where Matt Dillahunty refuted me. And when he refuted me, he was correct. And it's been, what, 6 years, and none of you, not even a Christian community, been able to show me how he did it. 10 grand I'm offering. And nobody's been able to do it. The bottom line is this. Matt got his behind dealing with me. Aaron Ra got his butt dealing. All of these so-called top atheists that you guys get down on your knees and y'all worship has been beaten. Just been beaten. Just been beaten. The Geek Room, for example. The last time I had a serious intellectual conversation with them, I think it was 2 times. On LGBTQ, crushed them on their own platform. And then number 2, they came to Veckel Room with that nonsense and they got crushed again. Okay? I believe the first time it was against the Tatted Jedi, and then the other dude that was on there, because I don't know all of their names. I really don't, as far as their YouTube names go. But there was another one on there who wanted to talk about the LGBTQ stuff, and they just got destroyed. They just got destroyed. Okay? I'm not making nothing up. Like I said, show the video where I'm debating one of you where you owned me. The full video. In its full context. You're never going to do that. You want to know why? That video don't exist. It doesn't exist, and it will never exist. But I got plenty of receipts to show how many times you guys have been refuted, caught lying, and have resorted to child's play and acting like a little baby on camera. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with the reality of the matter. There's a reason why atheism, why less and less and less people, we see a decline in people coming out as being atheists. There's a reason why this decline is going on, because they're embarrassed by the word. It comes with baggage. It comes with ungodly baggage. Okay? And normally this is when I would go out there and I would challenge you. I'm not wasting my time. That's why I like this audience. You already know your roles and you already know what happened. Okay? None of you can defeat Veckel, me, True Empiricism, Nephilim Free, Standing for Truth. None of us. Not even your precious Erica. None of you guys can deal with us. Period. Don't make me go get Pillbox. He'll eliminate you with a definition. So, atheism is not coming back on YouTube. It ain't going to happen. Nobody's going to start getting on here and start talking about why atheism's true. Getting these large audiences without me hearing about it, challenging them, and them going, well, I got to work that day. Oh, I got to go watch paint dry. I got to go brush my teeth. I got to go clean my room. I got to go do this. I got every excuse in the book, but I'm not going to debate you, which is what atheists do. No. You guys are too busy worrying about how somebody wipes their butt in the privacy of their own home. Some of you guys are more worried about what's going on under somebody else's car. Some of you are so ridiculously bad at any of this that you guys are too worried about what's going on in another country than you are what's going on in your own neighborhood. And we Christians are supposed to be afraid of you. Don't even get me started on how the Christians on the other channel feel about you guys. They don't even think you guys are even worth talking to anymore. You want to know why? Because when it's time to talk about this stuff, what are you guys doing? Be honest. Be honest. What have you guys done for the last 2 years? Well, not 2 years, 6 years. What have you guys done? Let me tell you what you've been doing. When G-Man goes in the shower, he lathers from front to back and from right to left. Shani for Christ doesn't clean up her room. Revelation News got a haircut. Veckel doesn't know how to tie his shoes. And you've been doing this for 6 years. For 6 years. You haven't won a debate. No. Let me be. No. That's not entirely true. I forgot something. And that was a non sequitur show. Before it became all about the money. Before it became all about the money. When you guys actually were trying to do something to resurrect what was already dead. And then the money became an issue and it went. Pfft. I want to know, how does it feel? How does it feel to know that you know I'm correct when I say that God exists? And when you say it, you're just trying to be a clown and trying to be funny. See, a lot of you, let me tell you something. You guys are very short-minded. You guys have no long-term thinking. You guys think very short-mindedly, right? You guys are thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about next year. And I know for a fact that some of you are going to try to resurrect that nonsense and want to be taken seriously on here. Except there's a problem. None of us is going to forget your behavior or what you guys are doing now. Can you imagine Lubis going on there saying, "G-Man, I'm good at evolution. I'll debate you." Say, "Sorry, no, I don't debate people who act like Kevin Hart. Sorry. I'll debate anybody who's a serious person on here, but you are not serious. And I don't have to take you serious. Because you're not a threat. You don't know anything about these topics. You have demonstrated over and over and over again. You don't know nothing about these topics. You're not educated enough to talk about the theory of evolution. You're not educated enough to talk about whether or not God exists. You're not educated enough to talk about Christianity. You're not educated enough to talk about biology." Lubis says, "How does it feel to know that no one takes you seriously?" Well, that's very interesting with that pretty statement. Who doesn't take me seriously, Lubis? Be careful. Who doesn't take me serious? Come on, Lubis. Nobody knows who you are. Remember that. All right. No, Lubis, you can't talk about everybody. You're already committing a fallacy already, dude. Because now you're putting words in Veckel's mouth. You're putting words in every Christian on YouTube's mouth. That's called being lazy in your delivery, sir. So let's get back to this again. A lot of you out there, every now and then, will try to resurrect your atheism. And a lot of you, sadly enough, believe that if you dog enough Christians on YouTube, people will not become Christians. And this is where you guys are making your mistake. The fact of the matter is, the object of our faith is Jesus Christ. It isn't Veckel. You can go and obliterate Veckel. I'm not following Veckel. I'm following Jesus. You can go out there and obliterate Dr. Ken Hovind. I'm not following Dr. Kent Hovind. I'm following Jesus. You can go out there and obliterate William Lane Craig. I'm not following William Lane Craig. I'm following Jesus. And that's what you knuckleheads will never understand about us. You will never, ever understand that about us. Okay? So, I want to encourage you guys. I really want to encourage you guys to continue in the direction that you guys are going in. I no longer have to debate morality because you guys already openly admit on a day-to-day basis you are not good people. You openly admit this on a day-to-day basis. Good people do not stalk people on a regular basis, which is what you people do. That's not what good people do. I don't even need to bring nothing else up. Stalking is enough. And all of you are stalkers. And it's just as simple as that. Am I wrong about that? Perhaps you could show me some demonstrable and empirical evidence to show me that you, as a reaction fan is not a stalker. How can you debate morality? Seems foolish. Yeah, I can say amen to that one, because some people hold to that nonsense that morality is subjective. That is all a matter of your own personal opinion. And that we learned morality from animals. I can show you some weird arguments that they made. I'll never forget during the Great Debate days when Bionic Dance came in my room and said rape is okay if a woman wants to be raped. If they have a fantasy about it and they act it out, that means it's good. And I destroyed that nonsense with one statement. I said, well, that's not rape. Like, honestly, that's how bad the arguments they were using were during the Great Debate days. They resorted to people like Boom Della Boom, people like JD Kane, Hog Tie I Talk Too Much Champ, Aaron Raw, who can't fight. Let me tell you something. I'm convinced that when Aaron Raw had his first fight, his entire family was behind him before he finally decided, I'm going to go defend myself, because he can't stand up for himself. He can't do it. And we have proven this over and over and over again. You want to see something funny? Go to the Bible Thumping Weenut channel and go look up Matt Slick versus Aaron Raw and Matt Slick versus Matt Dillahunty. You want to see something embarrassing? So embarrassing that you want to put a paper bag over your head? Go take a look at that show and you'll see what I'm talking about. Aaron Raw made a fool out of himself. Go take a look at it. All right. And he's supposed to be one of y'all leaders. You know what I mean? So isn't he like the president of the something in biology or whatever? No, he's just an overgrown drunk who doesn't know what he's talking about, in which his wife writes the scripts. That's all he is. He doesn't know nothing about evolution. He doesn't know nothing about biology. He doesn't know nothing about the atheism Christian debate. So, oh, let me this. Okay. So, a lot of you believe that once you're done dogging people on here, you're just going to come back on here and people are going to start taking you seriously. You guys should really start asking yourselves what is going on when we don't make YouTube videos, because we are laughing at you guys. And when I say we, let me be specific. Myself, Veckel, and anybody else who is part of the Great Debate community. Your arguments haven't gotten better. They've gotten worse. Like, I don't even hear you guys even using endogenous retroviruses as your proof anymore, because we're destroying that argument now too. There's no evidence for macroevolution. Okay? There's no proof for macroevolution. Number two, atheism is a bedtime story for adults. Okay? All you guys want to do is one thing and one thing only, and that is destroy the Christian faith and to normalize your atheism. That's all you want to do. And because of Roe versus Wade being overturned, that should show you how much power you guys are losing on a regular basis in our politics, because people are sick of you. Okay? They see you guys for what you are, and that is nothing but a bunch of troublemakers who never really cared about these topics. You just wanted to get God out of our society. You just want to get him out of our society and have something very close to what was in the Soviet Union. That's what you guys want. I think you're sick in the head for wanting it, but that's what a lot of you guys want. Name one person in the reaction community, just one, who's ever just one time, stood toe to toe with me, true empiricism, Nephilim free, or any of us when it came to the theory of evolution. And I'm not talking about Miss Parker pretending she wanted to have a debate in which the woman couldn't even define the word. She couldn't even define the word. She mocked other biologists who support her position. Give me one person. One. I'm sorry to tell you this, but that person don't exist. I crushed them all. I'm even thinking about calling it to the Atheist Experience again. This past week, I was thinking about doing it. I was like, you want to know what? Why should I call into that show? Like, in all honesty, I've already crushed Matt Dillahunty. I've already crushed him. I tell you what, why don't you guys find the very best person in the reaction community? I'm gonna prove something here right now, guys, so you can see it in real time. Okay? I will debate the best of the best of the best in the reaction community on is there abiogenesis? Is abiogenesis science, yes or no? Is abiogenesis science, yes or no? You must have a biology degree. You must have been in at least 5 serious debates where you were taken seriously. You must not be part of the let's talk about standing for Christ every single day crowd, because if you are, I'm not interested in it. I want to deal with the best of the best of the best. And I'll even let that person pick the moderator. I don't even care. I don't care about who the timekeeper is. All I care about is who's going to actually bring out the information. I got some other rules that I'll focus on. Okay? So, just wanted to make this YouTube video. Like, I just felt like verbally celebrating the victory that we enjoy here on YouTube. Like right now, I'm actively dealing with the Hebrew Israelites now. And we're getting close to, well, actually, that's not true. We're in the meat and the potatoes with the Hebrew Israelites. But in another year or so, we'll be basically saying the same thing about them that we're saying right now. There's a lot of things that's about to change in that community where we're going to be winning people out of there in droves. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. You know what I mean? So I love what I'm doing with the Hebrew Israelites and what I'm doing, the people that I'm working with regarding that. But like I said, I do this every now and then. I don't even take the atheist community seriously no more because, like I said, I don't know when the last time one of them tried to prove to me or try to convince me that Christ wasn't real or he didn't exist or the Bible wasn't true. You know full well if you don't have no education, you better not even try me. Okay, I've been on what's his name? Carnivorous Apes YouTube channel. Did terrible. I've been in the geek room. Like, honestly, that's like going to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. You know what I mean? No serious topics going on there, right? And I would recommend all serious debaters to stay as far away from that platform as possible because those people are not qualified to be part of the great debate community. You know when you're qualified? When you know how to define your terms and you know what you're talking about. Now, I'm sorry. The Geek Room is not qualified to talk about these topics. Neither is Miss Parker. DC Media Girl, I don't know enough about her to be able to say what she's qualified to do and what she ain't qualified to do. But I wouldn't waste my time with her either. And as far as I'm concerned, the rest of the community that got YouTube channels, come on, you guys already seen the G-Smack that I given all of them. And I still got G-Smacks. I got a whole bag of them right here that I'm just holding right here for the right time. Got a whole bag of them for the ones I haven't talked to yet. So, and by the way, for the people out there with no education, I meant that metaphorically. Just for the people out there who aren't that fast or whatever. What's in the bag? A whole bunch of me owning these atheists on YouTube if they ever try me. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. That's all I pretty much wanted to say. They're done. They're not going to be able to return. Now, some of you are wondering what happened with TST. TST strived on two things. TST strived on playing on the atheist emotions about how my shows went and these other shows went. And they did a weekly show where they talked about the so-called news that was going on in the community. And as long as we got upset and as long as we was talking about it, that show thrived. It thrived. Right to the moon. JD was kicking butt and taking names. Then you know what? We figured it out. And we was like, you want to know what? Every time we go on the channel, they're jumping us and muting us and not letting us talk. I'm the only person to this day that can say I went on TST. Now, nobody else can say they did this. I went on TST and I smacked JD Kane in the back of his head. I did that on his own show. I did that on his own show. None of you can claim that you went to JD and you went. Of course, I was sexually harassed by Fiona too on the same show, but here's what it is. You know what I mean? She likes to goose people, as she says. Then again, she was goosing a lot of people on that show. We'll talk about that some other day. But yeah, TST died because TST because nobody wanted to watch TST no more. People got tired of hearing about this Christian said this Christian said that, this Christian said this Christian said that, and other people wanted to start their own stuff on their own channels. Yep, I slapped the man in the back of his head right on his own show. It's on YouTube. It's all over the place. I'm surprised you ain't see it yet. And they spend all this time reviewing stuff. Why don't they review that kind of stuff? It's a lot of stuff on here I did that you guys know nothing about. And I mean, I met a lot of people in here you guys know nothing about. Like, for example, I brought one atheist to my home. That's how much I trust that person. And to this very day, that person hasn't said nothing. That person said nothing about where I live because they know I got a picture of them. They know I got their information. They ain't going to try me because I'm not stupid enough to let somebody get that kind of information and think I don't have nothing on them. I'm not dumb like that. That's what I require. I had Hebrew Israelites in my home. It's a lot of stuff that you guys don't know. Okay? So, like I said, TST's dead. We saw the end of the, what is that called? The Magic Sandwich Show when DPR passed. Then we saw the end of an era of Arnold Raw being taken seriously. I don't know one Christian. Actually, that's not true. I know at least two. I know two Christians that still listen to Arnold Raw and actually cares about what that man thinks. Standing for Truth and Ken Hovind. That's about it. And I don't even think Standing for Truth does it anymore. I think it's mainly Ken Hovind. I think he's the only one that cares about what Arnold Raw has to say. Because like I said, when you've been in the room as many times as I've been in the room with him and have beaten him in front of his own friends while his friends were trying to help him, you guys, you begin not to care too much about what the guy thinks no more. Resurrect, I've destroyed him on multiple occasions on his own YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So, no one can prove that God is not real. You have no basis. You have no logical or philosophical reason for being an atheist. Let me say this again. You have no logical and no philosophical reason, to be able to justify being an atheist. The only reason you're claiming to be an atheist is because you identify with it. There are similarities to how you feel about life and the cosmos. So when you're at home, you're thinking one thing, but when you cut your teeth, when you cut your computer on and you start interacting with these other people, you go out there and lie to everybody and claim to be an atheist. Like, I don't know what's going on. Or did you guys, a lot of you were never in private conversations with me on Skype. A lot of you don't know nothing about what it's like to talk to me behind closed doors. Okay? A lot of these people that you guys are getting on your knees and y'all idolizing, y'all worshiping, I've had so many private conversations with them, it's not even funny. I know them better than they think I do, and they hardly know anything about me. But the truth about why these people are never going to resurrect is because a lot of these atheists are discovering they can make money on YouTube making fun of people. I mean, why spread atheism when you can fill your pockets up, right? Why go out there and try to spread ism when you can live in a mansion and you can have a nice car and you can eat fine food while your friends are starving and your friends don't have anything and whatnot, right? Why do that? Why have integrity? Who needs that, man? All I gotta do is make me some money on YouTube. Make some stuff about this person. Don't care how it affects that person and just make my money. That's how you guys behave. That is how you guys behave on here. You don't care about nobody. All right? So, I get on here, and when I do get 1,000 subscribers on here, I'm like, well, I don't know. I might monetize this, but like I said, you guys won't be watching because you won't like the content that's going to be on this YouTube channel, I promise you. But like I said, you guys want to get rich quick, you go ahead and go on YouTube and do your thing. Just stay out of my great debate community. You heard what I said. Stay out of my great debate community. If I see you there, you'll be challenged and you'll be destroyed. Please understand that. You can go to your channels and react to this and laugh all you want. You still don't know how to define evolution. You don't got a logical or rational reason for being an atheist. And you guys have never won a debate here on YouTube, ever. Stay out of my world. All right. This is for the Christian apologists. to defend our faith. And if we see one of you trying to mess with another person's faith, you're going to have to deal with us. We know how bad you guys want to avoid that. And I also want to repeat something that you guys have said to me on multiple occasions. You guys have said that you don't debate people that are not your equals. People that are below you, you say you teach them, right? The reason why I have not accepted any of the debates from the atheists on this YouTube channel or accepted invitations to your YouTube channels, you haven't proven to me that you understand the Bible. When you show me that you understand the Bible, I will come to your YouTube channel and I will humor you and have a conversation with you about this. Okay? All right? I will humor you and I will have a conversation with you about the scriptures when you prove you know about it. Like, Todd isn't even qualified to talk to me as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Because a lot of you don't know the Bible. A lot of you got straw men about the Bible, but you don't really know the Bible that well. But a lot of you need to start understanding that since you don't know about the Bible, it's my job to teach you. It's my job to get you guys to understand the book of Genesis, the book of Exodus, the book of Leviticus, the book of Numbers, the books of history, the Gospels, etc., etc., etc. It's my job to teach you that. And I'm going to stop all this bragging, and I'm going to get on here and I'm going to start teaching you guys, because you guys don't even know. Todd isn't overqualified. Todd's a joke. That dude don't know what he's talking about. He's been corrected so many he's been corrected so many darn times. It's not even funny. All right. So I would like to thank the atheists for doing something, though. You guys have infiltrated the Hebrew Israelite community. I'd like to thank you guys for that. Let me explain to you why you guys shouldn't try to mix oil and water and what you guys actually did. Just so you'll know. I don't care if you don't believe me. I don't care if you think one thing or another. It doesn't make a difference to me. Okay? Recently, I was on another YouTube channel, and I was debating a Hebrew Israelite on that channel. Just having a friendly conversation. It's amazing how theists are a lot more respectful than anti-theists and missile-theists. And these people on here that claim to be atheists on here claim they're so good, but nobody wants to have a conversation with you guys because you guys are nothing but a bunch of comedians. But I was on that channel. We was having a discussion, and Steve McRae's manager went over there, an atheist. Go figure, because all of the problems that we have, a lot of the problems that, not all of them, but a lot of the problems that we're having on social media come strictly from atheists. So they went over there and they was like, go check out G-Man versus Shanny for Christ. So now what I do now is whenever I deal with the Hebrew Israelites, I bring that up immediately. And I also bring up Scientist Sam right along with it. Immediately. And I'm quick to tell them he's a white Jewish guy who said these things. Why am I doing this? Because it was you. And I have the messages. When you guys went on their channels, I am finally in possession of these meetings and these messages where you guys went to them and tried to use that Shanny for Christ stuff against me with them. Thank you. I appreciate it. Work harder at it. You want to know why? Because now I'm justified to play the joke the moment it happens. They start talking to me about it. Who is that? Here's the YouTube channel. Here's the people that support them. Here's the people out there. Here's the people. Here's the people. It's as simple as that. I have no problem with that. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this is a time to celebrate. 8 years ago, 9 years ago, from today, atheists were thriving on YouTube, spreading atheism. That is not happening no more. They are dead, done, finished, kaput. Atheism is no more on YouTube. You got to look pretty hard to find somebody in 2022 trying to spread that garbage. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But guess what we're still doing? We're still preaching the gospel of peace. We're still preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we're still doing the things that we originally said we was going to do when we first got on here. Not all of us, but most of us are doing it. No. I don't think you understand, honey. I was never an atheist. And that's what you guys will never understand. I was never an atheist. And I never will be an atheist. Because what you guys have taught me about atheism is this. lying is good, murder is better, and stalking is the best. That's what you guys believe in. I don't want nothing to do with that. You guys want to go to prison and you guys got this dream about wanting to go to jail, more power to you. But until one of you step up to the plate and actually give me a good reason for it, nobody paying y'all no mind. Period. But tell me something, because I haven't been a non-believer in about 11 years. What does it feel like? Tell me, how does it feel to know you lost to Christians? How does it feel? I wouldn't know nothing about that because ain't no religion kicking our butt. It ain't happening. So by all means, let the games begin. Let all of you guys tomorrow, when you wake up out of your bed, go find some entertainer to support. Because we all need to laugh. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all need to get our laugh on. We all need to joke around and everything. And while you guys play, we're going to put intelligent design in schools because you lost Roe versus Wade. I can't wait to see the reaction when they say the intelligent design is going to be in school. Keep up the good work, guys. You're doing a great job doing my work for me.